All right, so we are meeting here today for our Awakening Your Feminine Vitality workshop. And this is a really, really beautiful opportunity for you to just drop into your feminine, drop into your own beauty way, your own expression of what it means to be a woman. And I shared a little prompt in the chat, which, if you're listening to the replay, I also invite you to come and share this with us. Come and, take a moment to drop in and invite yourself into this group and really ponder on what your favorite part is about being a woman. Because this question, like I told the ladies who are here live with us before we started the recording, this question is going to help us really know where we want to go deeper into our womanhood. This entire workshop is about cultivating that femininity, cultivating our vitality, which is really about feeling good in our bodies, coming home to our bodies. So, what is your favorite part about being a woman? Taking time to really drop into this and be present with whatever that means to you. What does it mean to be a woman? And what do you love about being a woman? So, this workshop actually was birthed from my own year of deepening with my feminine vitality. Over the last 3 years, I've really had to get clear on my womanhood, get clear on what type of woman I want to be. What are the qualities that I want to cultivate in my life? How do I want to feel in my body? How do I want to feel in my relationships? And how can I nourish myself so that I feel more confident in all the areas of my life, whether that is my relationship, my sexuality, my ability to be a homemaker and a wife, but also my business, my friendships, my community. What is the type of woman that I want to be in these aspects of my life? And as I was kind of taking that time to really deepen with this question of like, who do I want to be? What is the kind of woman I want to be? I found some gaps between who I was and who I wanted to be, which I think is very normal for all of us. Of course, when we're wanting to cultivate our feminine essence, it usually comes from the space of like, oh, there's this part of me where I know that I could be more expressed in. There's this element of myself that I know that I could deepen with. And it comes from this very genuine place of just wanting to come home to yourself. I know some of you definitely relate to that. That's probably why you're here. There's a part of you that is like, yeah, my feminine vitality. I want to feel more of that. And so that gap that I was experiencing between who I was at that time and who I wanted to become, I found that what was lacking the support, it was like actually lacking the ability for me to feel fully confident in all these areas of my life was my vitality. And I'm not just talking about the surface level vitality of how my digestion feels, which like this isn't surface level. This is really important stuff. Like your health, like your cognitive function, your digestive health, like your hormonal health and your menstrual health, like all these things are super important. But for me at that time in my life, I felt pretty good in all those areas, but there was like something else. There was something missing. And what I was realizing was that it was my life force, my vitality that actually comes from my life force energy as a woman. There's many different names, many different expressions of life force, and we're going to get into that today. But what I found through my own journey is that by actually tending to my own energy, my own vitality that comes from my life force, nourishing it through sacred feminine healing practices, all of a sudden I had this abundance of energy to show up in a completely different way in all areas of my life. To show up in a way that was more alluring and more opening and inviting to my husband, that actually gave me more energy and vitality to tend to my home, to adorn my home, to keep it tidy in a way that nourished my feminine body and my nervous system. Gave me more vitality to tend to my online community here. And so I really, really started to unlock and kind of unravel this remembrance of how our vitality as women is also our eros, is also our magnetism, is also, our sense of self. And when we feel rich in our life force, when we feel nourished down to the core of our being, the very essence that flows through us as women, we feel powerful. So that is what today's conversation is about. And we're going to be sharing some really cool things that you might have not experienced before or learned before because my awakening to feminine vitality really came through daoist feminine healing practices. And we're going to get more into that soon. I just want to take a moment to pause and tune into what some of you had said in response to the question. So we have Anastasia. She's from Maryland and she lives 30 minutes from her hometown with her fiance and her pup Fern. She was called to join because she's been on a journey of embodying more of her feminine essence, her relationship, and in her business. And her favorite part about being a woman is how magical we are and her ability to play and then navigate the unseen realms. I love that. Cheyenne is from Oregon. The medicine that has been calling to her and the aspects of herself that have been needing deep healing in her feminine. She has been at the root of her healing process for the past few years and loves showing up in these group offerings. And it's always so beautiful to have you, Cheyenne. Her favorite part of being a woman is that it's hard. It's a hard one because there are so many beautiful parts. One of her favorite parts is her bleed and her cycles and the creation of her womb's energy. I love that. I love that so much. Heidi said hello from Texas. She's been called here to deepen her practice and remind herself to take time from mothering to mother herself. Oh, yes, yes, yes. We're going to be going into that. Her favorite part about being a woman is being able to tap into the orgasmic energy and have such a strong connection with spirit as a woman. I also really love being held and taken care of by a good man. I really love that. Oh, these are so beautiful. She's got her daughter there, Gaia. Hi! Awesome. So thank you so much for introducing yourself, my loves, and let this chat be like a living space. So if you have like an expression that you want to share in the chat, there's something I say that lands for you, feel free to put it in the chat. If you have questions, if you want to relate on any level, the chat is such a sacred place to do that. So for those of you who are new to me, I shared with you already a little bit about my process of awakening to my feminine vitality and learning about my life force essence. And the interesting thing is that from the time I was 14 years old, I became fascinated with energy healing and with vibrational medicine. When I was 14, I had a friend's mom take me under her wing and invite me to a meditation class. And this really started my spiritual awakening as a woman. I continued to meditate. I learned Reiki. I was studying sound healing and crystal bowls and like biodynamic healing with our vibrational medicine that flows through us as beings. So I've always had this fascination and this interest. And as I have been deepening my own studies over the years, I mean, obviously it's been a very long time since I was 14, but this has always stuck with me. And as I've continued to deepen my studies as a woman, I found that there's so much missing. There's so much about vibrational medicine and tending to our sacred bodies as women that doesn't get discussed because so even just like science, feminine healing is not the focus. Usually it's on men or it's, non-binary in that way. And I think that it's really important that us as women have a resource, have spaces to learn and educate ourselves about our feminine energy and how to take care of our energy as women. So my prayer is that this workshop is that for you. And I have freaking dug my nose so deep in books and blogs and courses and retreats to be able to provide you this wisdom today. So as I'm moving through this workshop, this is definitely a workshop that you're going to want to have your journal out and taking notes. You're going to want to re-listen to it over and over again. My invitation is to treat it like a podcast episode. So when you're feeling like stuck and icky and just like low energy, pop this on, put your, headphones in, go for a walk and revitalize your feminine energy and receive this information again and again. So, those of you who don't know me, my name is Tarani. I'm a feminine healer, and I also have birthed a modality called Way of the Womb, which is a modality that tends to women's bodies and also tends to women's energies to help connect them to their power, their pleasure, and their purpose in life. And so we do this through literally tending to the feminine body through womb massage, through breast massage, through internal pelvic floor work, really working with our feminine body to bring healing. And something that I found through my work with women and through now training women in this modality is that oftentimes in these feminine healing practices and rituals and like all like the things that Pinterest will tell you to do or like a woman on Instagram will tell you to do, it can be very in the head. Even a visualization practice can be in the head. Even a, somatic movement practice can be the head. And what I have found is that what women actually need, and a lot of times the deepest medicine for women is just bringing their own hands to their own bodies, practicing breast massage, practicing womb massage, having cultivation practices that deepen them with their own physical body. Because the reality is that so many of us as women struggle with our body. We struggle with our body image. We struggle to feel beautiful in our own bodies, and we struggle to have that deep, intimate relationship with our bodies that exudes that, feminine essence of I love myself and I trust myself. And we all know that that is such a radiant energy. Like when we see a woman and we can tell that she feels good in her body and that she trusts herself, there's like it inspires us. It's like an unspoken like it's just this unspoken thing. She doesn't need to explain herself. She doesn't need to even introduce herself when she walks into a room because people feel her. And this is I believe, the magnetic part of a woman who has come to love herself, not through some egotistical lens, but actually through a depth of intimacy, of gone through the journeys, descended into her womb, touched her own body, cried her own old tears, and processed the emotions that have held her back. And my belief is that this is the kind of care that women need more than ever. And so in today's workshop, I really want to share with you tools and practices and the reason why this work is so powerful. I'm a woman who has not always felt really safe in my own body. I'm a woman who has not always felt in love with my own body. I have curves. I have, things of course that are different than other women, and I'm a woman who has had to work so hard to continue to fall in love with myself, no matter how my body has changed, no matter how my community has changed, no matter how my relationship has changed. I'm a woman who has chosen every single day to come back to myself, and the easiest way that I've done this is through my practices. So we're going to go ahead and start going into some of the deeper details of this workshop. But just remember that this all is here for you. This is all here for you. So if at any point you have questions, write it in the chat and we will be going over a Q&A at the end. And if you're really listening to the replay, never hesitate to send me an email and ask me your personal questions, especially if there's something specific that pertains to you and your own life experience and you want my feedback. So, the number one thing that I want to begin with is just taking a moment for us all to drop into our feminine energy, to get out of our head and into our heart and into our womb. And so I want to take you into your body, if you will allow me. If you are able to just close your eyes in this moment, I think that would be beautiful. If you're not able to, just follow me with your breath. Okay. So going ahead and closing your eyes here, let's all take a deep breath into the body. And exhale. Two more. Inhaling deeply through the nose and exhaling through the mouth. Letting yourself find a natural and neutral breath that deepens you in your body. And letting the breath be a force that drops you into your feminine. So letting yourself sigh on the exhale, letting yourself yawn. And as you take these next few breaths, I want to invite you to let go of anything that has come before this moment and everything that will come after. trusting your intuition and your body, letting yourself shift out of whatever came before this time and whatever will come after, fully giving yourself permission to just be here now. And as you drop into this present moment, into this now, into your own body, I invite you to bring your hands to your womb space, holding your womb, maybe even cupping right over your yoni with your hand, and breathe into your womb space. The womb has her own consciousness. And when you take time to connect with her consciousness, it will soften your entire body. So, in this moment, as you connect to your womb, I just invite you to say hello, to drop into her consciousness by greeting her. And between you and your womb, I invite you to set an intention for today's call, for the wisdom that you're going to experience today, for the practices you're going to do today, letting yourself set an intention. Then I want you to carry that intention up to your heart, maybe even bringing one hand to your heart and one hand to your womb. And just take this moment to pause and acknowledge yourself. Acknowledge yourself for showing up to this, for listening to this, for being available to deepen with your feminine vitality. And when you feel that self-recognition land in your body, I invite you to just humbly bow to your body, show your gratitude for her. And we're going to go ahead and begin from here. Do you feel how powerful that is to just take 2 minutes to pause and drop in with your own body? There's so much power that can come from this. So, I want to begin by talking about Taoism. You can let me know in the chat if Taoism is something that you're familiar with or something that you're new with. But for me, Taoism has been a powerful practice, a powerful philosophy in my life. My path into Taoism began many, 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 many years ago when I started to meditate. And I started to learn these Taoist meditation practices with, my mouth and my tongue and my alignment. I started to go and get acupuncture and learn about the meridians. At that point, I was also a very, very devoted Reiki healer, and Taoism really helped me understand the life force energy in the body that I was working with in my energy healing sessions, and how the meridians were helpful in moving that energy and nourishing that energy. But it wasn't until almost 5 years ago now that I began my tea practice that I really began to deepen with Taoism, with its teachings, and the medicine there. And my tea, so I practice a form of tea called Cha Dao, and this practice is profound because you're working with all the different elements. You have wood, you have air, you have water, you have fire, and of course you have metal too. So when you're sitting with tea, I have my side handle pot or my gong fu pot, and I'm pouring into my, tea bowl, and I'm just sitting and I'm doing nothing but drinking my tea and letting my body receive and be nourished. It's an act of nothingness. It's like the least productive thing you could ever do, but it feels so good. And what I found through my tea practice is that what happens when we take time to slow down and pause and literally meditate and focus on one thing. I mean, how many of us as modern women have a hard time of focusing on one thing at a time, right? Especially as moms. Like, it's so easy for our mind to like do a million things a minute. But through my Taoist practice and my tea practice, I really learned how to just hone my vertical alignment, hone myself, my consciousness, my relationship to God, my sense of self, and just take that moment to pause and do nothing. And I found that it really filled up my cup. That not only was I filling up my tea bowl, but I was filling up myself. And what I was filling up myself with is life force energy. And so, as I began to experience the shifts in myself, I deepened along the path of Taoism through the specific lens of how can I heal my femininity? How can I heal my womb? How can I heal myself through Taoism? And Taoism is a very ancient, ancient, ancient philosophy that goes thousands and thousands of years into the past and has been not necessarily, some people see it as a religion, and I think that there are religious components to it. But more than anything, Taoism is a philosophy, it's a practice, it's a way of life. And through the principles of Taoism and the treasures in Taoism, which we're going to get into soon, people have found a way to cultivate their sexual energy, to expand their longevity of their lifespan, and increase their capacity to actually feel in deep, deep, deep coherence with all areas of their life. And I feel like this is so powerful for modern women to learn because the core struggles that we face as modern women are burnout, hormonal imbalances, low sex drive, experiencing fatigue. We're oftentimes in a position to give, 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 give. And we need opportunities to slow down and fill up our own cup. And lack of vitality, lack of energy are oftentimes the thing that's causing fatigue, that's causing low sex drive, that's causing hormonal imbalances, right? And so I know all of you are here because you want to embody a magnetic presence. You want to feel your feminine expression. You want to tap into that deep well of who you are as a woman. You want to feel sensual. You want to feel alive. You want to feel like you have the capacity to do what you love and love what you do and take care of your family at the same time. And I believe that that is the greatest expression of a woman because as women, we are natural born leaders. In our menstrual cycle, we have the four phases, in our bleeding phase, we're like letting go and we're releasing. And a lot of times when we're bleeding, our psychic senses open up and we can see things and we're hypersensitive and very fine-tuned to what's happening in our life. We experience a lot of revelations when we're bleeding. And then when we are finished bleeding and we go into follicular phase, it's an opportunity for us to implement the sensitivities, the visions, the messages that we got while we were bleeding into our life. So we're going through follicular, we're creating, we're cultivating, we're building, and then in ovulation, that is the opulent time where we're sharing that all that we've cultivated, all that we've created, we're sharing it with the world. We're using our big magnetic feminine energy to give, to share from a full space. And then we curve to luteal and we refine and reflect. What worked? What didn't work? How am I? How am I not? And then we arc back to our menstrual time where we're releasing again and getting new information. And so I believe that our menstrual cycle is actually a almost like a divine clock for women to track our own lives and to show up as leaders and to know who we are, what's working for ourselves, what's not working for ourselves. And when our menstrual cycle is balanced, when our hormones are balanced and we're not fatigued and we're actually in sync with our womb, our magnetic presence and our feminine expression is able to be that much more palpable, right? Because our vitality is full, where bleeding isn't something that depletes you, it's actually something that gives you spaciousness, right? So, if we want to talk about being a magnetic woman and embodying our feminine expression, we have to acknowledge that we have to descend as women. I think a lot of people see Taoism and Tantra and these kinds of cultivation practices as this very like buzzy high energy, which it can be. But more importantly, it's an energy that descends us down. It descends us down into our sex. It descends us down into our primal. And that sensual aliveness that we crave as women requires that we drop down deep into our feminine anatomy and get really, really intimate with it. So intimate with it that we are wet and we are worthy and we are feeling aliveness from our pussy, right? So we have to descend. And in order for us to really come into our pleasure as women, especially with our own relationship to ourselves, there are things that we have to address, right? Old traumas, old things where people have hurt us, things where we have hurt ourselves, unkind words that we have said to ourselves. We have to go in and close those healing loops and address what has been living in our body. Because if we have outdated information, if we have old pain in our body, if we have old toxins in our body, then it's really, really hard for us to tap into that well of deep feminine power and beauty and pleasure and purpose that's always available to us because it's having to kind of weave through all of this density to get to the lightness and the beauty and the nectar of who you are as a woman. So there's a lot of power in learning how to do the shadow work and learning how to feel the depths of yourself so that you can access what's really underneath it all, which is the devotional womanhood. So I'm sure as I'm talking about this, you can already feel in your heart things that have been heavy, things that have been present that you haven't been giving time to. Maybe there's like some pain in your chest that you haven't been massaging, or maybe you've been feeling really disconnected from your womb. Maybe somebody hurt you and that keeps coming back and it's time for you to forgive them. Maybe you've been really, really, really judging your body, right? And that's been affecting your ability to feel good in your body. So already you can kind of look and scan in your body and see, okay, there's some stuff I'm definitely navigating, right? We all are, we're human. And this is your invitation to tend to it, to drop into it. So, Taoist practices offer ancient wisdom that can feel mysterious and powerful and draw your curiosity, right? Like it's like, oh, what is that? But also, Taoist practices are so easy, so simple, and they work because they are easy and simple, because they go right to the source. And so, no matter what we're doing, whether it's breast massage, whether it's jade egg practices, internal pelvic floor mapping, microcosmic orbit, the inner smile practice, we're literally going to the place within us and tending to the parts where we hurt so that we can melt that pain, that we can soften it, and therefore deepen into what's beneath it. So, the number one thing that I find that blocks and drains your feminine energy is that stress that you're holding in your body of unresolved pain. And so, I want to take a moment for you to really address whatever is coming up, whatever you can feel is alive that needs to be tended to. So, I want to just give you an opportunity to close your eyes, take some deep breaths, and ask your feminine body, your own emotional intelligence. What's been standing between me and my sensual aliveness? What's been standing in between me and my sexuality, my expression, my vitality? What's been standing in between it? Just giving yourself an opportunity to pause and breathe into this, maybe even writing it down if that feels nourishing for you. I'm just going to place that on the altar and say, I see you, I hear you, I love you. And I want you to acknowledge how this thing that's been running in your system, that's been quiet but loud, trying to grab your attention, is the exact thing that has been causing you stress, that has been pushing you to overwork, that has been disconnecting you from your body and depleting your life force. How this very thing is what needs healing, what needs tending, so that you can feel coherent, so that you can feel connected, so that you can feel at peace with who you are. So when we, even you can already see when you acknowledge that thing, your body already starts to soften. And so the concept of Taoist feminine healing is really about looking at where there's energy leaks, where we're experiencing leaky chi due to stress, due to overworking, due to emotional blocks, unresolved trauma, and finding those energy leaks and tending to them, sealing them up, not just ripping them out and taking them away, but actually looking at, okay, how can we bring healing to this so that we're no longer leaking from this place? And the way that we do that, that actually fuels feminine aliveness, is through yin cultivation. So when we're in a trauma response, when we get into that sympathetic nervous system, it's very easy for us to rush. It's very easy for us to just throw ourselves at whatever's in front of us, to overgive, to overwork, and disconnect from our body and get in our head. And so the deepest healing that we can experience as women is taking time to slow down and cultivate our yin. Because as soon as you slow down and you cultivate your yin energy, your feminine feels met. The source of our yin is in this place that I call the yin point. It's 2 inches below your navel. Also in Taoism, we call this the dantian. And it's our seat of power. It's where we cultivate the soft power of being a woman. It's also our womb space. And so when you drop down and you cultivate your yin and you choose to slow down and you exit the trauma response of going, doing, creating, being, giving, 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 and you choose to soften, come back to your center, tend to what needs to be tended to in your body and slow down and be present enough, what happens in you is you start to cultivate your yin. And when you cultivate your yin, you then create a reservoir of nourished, fluid, vital energy in your body that they then can come up and uphold your vitality, right? And then what happens when our yin reservoir is full, what we choose to create through our yang is much more available, is much more direct, right? So we can experience as women when we want to create something or we want to do something or when we have responsibility that we have to show up to in our life, we have our yin, but if our yin is depleted and we try to show up and we give to our responsibilities, there's a level of depletion that can come forward, right? There's a level of like, I'm doing this because I have to, because I need to, because I want to, but that sharpness isn't there, the directness isn't there. And so the beautiful thing about yin cultivation is that when we cultivate our yin, it also cultivates our yin, our yang, and it gives our yang more potency, which then directly nourishes our vitality and our sexuality as women. One of the first things that happens when we're overworked and we're stressed as women is we get adrenal fatigue and it puts stress on our kidneys, right? And the interesting thing to remember is that your kidneys directly link to your sexual anatomy as a woman. So the meridian line that runs from the kidneys flows directly to the ovaries and through your sexual amrita and your whole shebang as a woman. So when you go into adrenal fatigue, when you go into stress, it directly affects your sexuality because it's putting pressure on your kidneys. And just like that, as soon as you nourish your yin, you cultivate your feminine essence, even just thinking about your kidneys fills your reserve of yin energy in your body. As soon as you do that, you start to fill yourself back up. And so the thing that's really cool about these Taoist concepts and practices is that you don't have to take a whole day to be try to be in your feminine to resource your cup. You can sit down and do a practice from, 3 to 10 minutes and you walk away feeling genuinely nourished. These practices have been cultivated over thousands of years and shared with us. Thank goodness they're shared with us because it works, right? It works on increasing our fertility. It works on increasing our eros, our magnetism, our sense of self. It works. And the reason why it works is because Taoism has unlocked three treasures. And this is where all of the work focuses. So the three treasures are the building blocks of any Taoist practice. And when we nourish ourselves and we focus on these three treasures, it'll really open up the allure of who we are as women. The first treasure is something you're probably familiar with, which is chi. So chi is also known as life force energy. Chi is what flows through the trees in our body and every living thing, our food, everything has chi. And when our chi is depleted, oftentimes that's why we're getting sick or we're experiencing illness. It's like if you have a chronic illness and your chi is low, you're gonna have a flare up. But if your chi is high, then the symptoms of your chronic illness will lean back, right? Same with our sexuality as women. When our chi is low, there's no way we want to make love and have sex, right? But when it's high, we have that energy to give, to share, to imbue. So chi is one of the main treasures in Taoism that focuses on our life force and how we can give, and resource our body through what we receive, what we do, what we eat, how we hold ourselves. And chi can be cultivated. We can always receive more chi. We can be in abundance of chi. But the next treasure in Taoism, Jing, is something that we cannot receive more of. Jing is known as the essence. That's a very simple way to describe Jing. It's our essence as women or as humans. It's the element, the like very like minute frequency of our soul that comes into our body when we are born. And our Jing is something that we can't bring more of into our body, but we can nourish it. But the interesting thing to notice is that your Jing can be depleted. So if you're not taking care of yourself as a woman, if you're not slowing down, if you're not cultivating your yin, your jing can get depleted. And what happens when your jing gets depleted? You lose your spark as a woman. Your eyes will dull, bags will get deeper under your eyes, right? Your posture might curve in and your voice might mute. The way you walk will shift. The way you flirt and you experience yourself as a sensual woman will become depleted as well. So it's very important that we nourish our jing as women because this is what gives us our allure. This is what gives us our feminine radiance, our power, our beauty, our opulence is our jing. And jing in Taoism is what we're nourishing when we do our breast massage, when we do our inner smile, when we do our womb massage, when we do our microcosmic orbit. We are nourishing our jing. And when we're nourishing our jing, we're allowing more of our essence to occupy our body. And this is why this works, right? As a feminine healer, as a womb healer, I spent time not incorporating Taoism in these practices that I'm sharing with you today, and this information I'm sharing with you today. I spent time not having this in my practice as a feminine healer. And I found that this is what women need to understand. They need to understand why this works. They need to understand about their essence and how it's not just something that exists outside of themselves or some cool idea, but it's actually part of their vitality as women, cultivating their life force essence. So your jing is very, very powerful. When you nourish your jing, your eyes will change. You'll even notice maybe the color of your eyes will change. Your facial structure can change. Your whole expression starts to change as a woman because you're bringing more of your essence into your body. You're creating spaciousness in your body for your essence to land. And then we have the third treasure, which is your shen. Shen is one of my favorites. I'm a Shen girl because your Shen is the essence that's like this treasure that expresses your true self. And I think a lot of women struggle with that expression of their true selves. I think a lot of women struggle to even know who their true self is, let alone reveal their true self to all the people in their lives and live from that space. And so when we are cultivating our Shen, we're cultivating our true self. I like to think so Shen lives in your heart. You know, it lives in our breasts as women, our hearts, where we, if we are breastfeeding our children, we're giving them our Shen, we're giving them our truth, our love, right? And so Shen, as a Taoist treasure, lives in the heart. And I like to think of it as a little nest. And our Taoist practices are the birds that tend to the nest of our heart. And so when we take time to do breast massage, when we take time to meditate, to do our microcosmic orbit, to do a jade egg practice, what happens is that those little birds that are our practice go in and they get the old seasons of fluff and fur and leaves and twigs. It takes that out, takes all the old stuff out that's no longer serving us. And then it brings in new warmth, some fluff here, some new fresh leaves here, maybe some flowers here, and builds up our nest with new life force energy. And this is really important because it's easy to go through life and not tend to your heart. It's easy to go through life and feel heartbreak and cry and move through that, but to actually cultivate the radiance of your heart, the health of your heart, your energy that exudes from your heart is not something that we do a lot. A lot of times we'll focus on our sexuality and our womb, but the heart and the womb have to be in coherence for the truth of our feminine expression, our eros, our magnetism, our vitality to actually exude from us. They need to be synced up. Sex without heart magic is not as pleasurable. It's not as opening. The deepest healing orgasms that we can possibly feel as women come from when our heart is like melting and open and blossoming and exuding feminine essence and radiance. So, Shen is a very, 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 very important place for women to practice their cultivation and their devotion because it's often a spot that gets overlooked. We'll always try to go straight to the womb, we'll always try to like be in our head, but that bridge in the middle that is your heart is so important and really sets the tone because within your heart is your true essence. So if you cultivate your Shen, if you cultivate your true essence and you express from that place, of course you're going to feel more radiant. Of course you're going to feel more vital. Of course you're going to feel more coherent with what's going on the inside and what's going on the outside because you've taken time to feel what's going on the inside, right? So the there's a practice that I want to share with all of you that really focuses at cultivating these three treasures. So nourishing your chi, nourishing your Jing, and nourishing your Shen. And so we're going to go ahead and drop into that practice now. Before we drop into this practice, I just want to hold the opportunity for everybody to go to the bathroom. And if you need to like refill your water, anything, let's go ahead and just take 3 minutes here for everybody to go ahead and have a little break, do what you got to do, and then we'll come back and drop right into our practice. So you're definitely going to want to try to empty your bladder for this practice if you can. So we will meet back here in 3 minutes. Hey, my loves, I hope you're back. If you're back, go ahead and just give me a heart or a thumbs up. Beautiful. So we are going to go ahead and drop into a little practice. I'm really excited to share it with you. And so I want you to just set yourself up. We're going to be seated. So please come seated with your legs crossed, where you have accessibility to a little bit of movement with your spine, but just coming seated. We're going to go ahead and begin. So, one of the most important things that I find when we're going into practices like this is that we need to open our bodies to make sure that our body is receptive and ready to receive. And so we're going to begin with a little practice of opening the body. And so if you want to go ahead and close your eyes now, and just tune your gaze inward, please do so. Just meditating here for a moment. And breathing into your womb. We're going to go ahead by doing some spinal flexes. So you're going to bring the palm of your hands to your knees. You're going to inhale up, exhale back. Inhale forward, exhale back, rocking your spine. And I want you to feel the root of this movement coming from your pelvis and the top of this movement in your sternum. So really feeling the full arch of your spine moving, inhaling forward, exhaling back, opening up the spine. Opening your body, breathing fiercely into her with your movements. Beautiful. Almost there. 30 more seconds. Inhaling forward, exhaling back. This is our first practice in opening our body. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Beautiful. Going ahead and rolling your shoulders, creating little circles with your shoulders. Any stress that you've been holding on your body, any weight that you've been carrying, worries, just rolling it off of your shoulders here. I'm going ahead and rolling the shoulders forward now. In our shoulders, we oftentimes carry hard, painful, ill words that we've said to ourselves or we've said to others. So as you're doing these shoulders rolls, I want you to just roll that off, going the opposite direction again, rolling backwards, rolling off all the words held in your body that have not been kind, that have been hurtful, rude, that have held you back. Okay, going forward now. And then pulling the shoulders up to your ears and dropping them down. 5 more. Ah, beautiful. Rotating your neck if that feels good. Stretching your arms up and out. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and do some around the worlds now. So bring your hands back to your knees. You're gonna inhale forward, arcing around your pelvis and bringing it back. So we call this the honey pot or around the world. I prefer honey pot because when you are inhaling forward and arcing your body around your pelvis, you are elixing the essence of your womb, that sweet nectar in the womb space. And so you want to try to keep your spine straight, almost as if your spine is the honey stick and your pelvic bowl is the honey pot. So you're inhaling forward and exhaling back. Going as slow and deep as you possibly can. And if you feel a point of tension, just pause there and stretch it out before moving forward. You can make little circles or big circles. Starting to go the opposite direction, elixing the sweet nectar of your womb space. About 30 more seconds here. Starting to make your circles smaller and smaller, focusing and concentrating on the essence of your womb and what you're cultivating here. Five, four, three, two, one. Allow yourself to come center, elongating your spine, tucking your chin slightly in. And just take a moment to breathe here to meditate. Feeling your body really starting to open. We're just going to do one more stretch to open the body before we begin our practice. So you're going to bring your left hand to your right knee, and then your right arm will come up, and you're going to arc over your body, opening your entire obliques, your side body, and stretching, expanding your heart. Ah. And switching sides, right hand comes to left knee, and then you arc over with the left hand, opening your side body. We'll do that 2 more times on each side, going at your own pace. Making sure to breathe deeply. When you complete, just ask your body if there's any more stretches that she needs to feel open. And just giving her that here. Can you feel how open she is? Feels good. So, the practices that I'm going to share with you here today are centered around restoring your vitality, enhancing your sexual energy, and reconnecting you to your feminine core. And we're going to begin with meditation because meditation is always the foundation to yin cultivation. And so I want you to go ahead and bring your hands into your lap, left palm over right, just letting them settle into your lap. You're going to lengthen your spine almost as if there's a string pulling you up. You're going to roll your shoulders down and back so that your heart is facing forward. And then you're just going to tuck your chin slightly. You're going to bring the tip of your tongue to the very roof of your mouth, right in the center. And inhale and exhale through your nose. When you bring the tip of your tongue to the roof of your mouth, you are connecting to the heart meridian point in your mouth. And so as you're breathing here, I invite you to breathe into your feminine heart. And on the exhale, letting yourself deepen into your heart. We're going to take 2 minutes here to just meditate in the heart. So letting yourself find that posture, rolling the shoulders down and back, lifting the spine, tucking the chin in, and just meditating here in silence on your feminine heart. Beautiful. Keep inhaling into your heart and exhaling into your heart. We have 30 more seconds, really cultivating the Shen in your heart, using your breath to call your true self into your heart here. And when you're ready, releasing the tongue from your mouth, allowing your tongue to become heavy, licking your lips, and softening your jaw. Feeling your heart open and your feminine body soften. This is the beginning of cultivating your yin here. We're going to go ahead and begin our practice that will enhance your sexual energy and reconnect you to your feminine core. It's so simple. It's so easy. You can do it every day, you know? So now you're going to bring the tip of your tongue to the back of your mouth. So if you're looking at your palate, you're going to go all the way back where the hard roof of your palate softens and the squishy part of your throat begins, or the back of your mouth. You're going to feel your tongue stretch all the way back to pulse. Put yourself right back there. I just want you to hold right there for the count of 5 breaths. We're revitalizing the kidneys, bringing life force energy, chi to the kidneys as you're breathing here. So focusing your energy at your kidneys as you take these last 3 rounds of breath. Let your tongue release. And now you're just going to bring the tip of your tongue right behind your 2 front teeth, right in the center. You're going to inhale, and on the exhale, I want you to ha. So, you're almost making a sound. So you're inhaling through your nose, exhaling through your nose, but on the exhale, you're making a sound vibration. So the tip of your tongue is behind your 2 front teeth, right in the center. You're inhaling through your nose, you're exhaling through your nose with the but your focus is at your womb, is at your jade palace. And so what starts to happen through the vibration, through the sound, is one, you're toning your vagus nerve, so you're dropping into your parasympathetic, but you're also starting to cultivate the nectar of your womb, of your sexual energy as a woman. And the vibration in your mouth is vibrating the core of your womanhood, of your feminine, which is at your cervix. So we're going to go ahead and begin. We're going to do this for 5 minutes. I'm going to put on a little song. And I just want you to receive and meditate here. So the tip of your tongue will be at the behind your teeth. You're going to inhale through your nose and exhale through your nose with the on the exhale. And your awareness is dropped into your womb so that you're channeling all the energy that you're creating through your breath, through your sound. You're using all the energy to cultivate the life force energy, the chi and the jing held in your womb. Alrighty, darlings, let's go ahead and begin 5 minutes. Love feels like a holy. Wash my feelings at the door. Love feels like a holy. Soothe my sorrows and clean my heart. Holy you. Our hands like red through the good. Love feels like a holy you. Feels like a holy. Love feels like a holy you. Hold my faith, make me a new holy to you. Unwrite me, your whisper too. Love feels like a holy you. Your love feels like a holy. Take my hand, lay me on the floor. Your love feels like a holy. Banish my fears and let me go. Holy you. Continuing this inhale and exhale, focusing the energy at your womb and cultivating that vibration with your sound. And in these last few seconds, I want you to feel the vibration of the sound that you're creating, breaking through any densities, any calcification in your heart, in your womb, any self-hatred, any fear that you've been holding in your body, feeling the sound break through those layers. 3 more breaths, just like that. 3 more. Mm. And after the third one, you're going to swallow. You're going to swallow all the vibration that you've been cultivating in your mouth. You're just going to swallow it, bringing it down through your heart and landing it in your dantian, in your womb. Taking a deep, rich inhale through your nose, holding the breath at the top, and exhale, release. Inhale your breath at the top, hold, exhale, release. One more deep inhale. This time, when you reach the top, hold your breath for as long as you possibly can. I want you to feel the sexual life force energy that you just cultivated, radiating throughout your entire body, buzzing through your cells. I want you to feel it behind your eyes. I want you to feel it in your smile. I want you to feel it in your heart and letting your heart smile, coming into the inner smile, feeling every single fiber of your being smile with your radiant sexual energy, which is your vitality. This essence of your sacred sexuality as a woman is your vitality. And it is your birthright to cultivate it, to feel it, and to fall in love with it. At the bottom of your exhale, I invite you to just sway and move and stretch. Grounding yourself into your body, maybe moving your hips. Taking your time here to receive any last little nectar drops that move through you. And go ahead and feel free to write in the chat how you're feeling, how that was for you. So easy. You're literally just bringing the tip of your tongue behind your 2 front teeth. You're inhaling through your nose and exhaling through your nose and vibrating your sound in the exhale and focusing that energy at your womb. It's so easy. You can do that for 3 minutes every morning, and I promise your womanhood will feel so rich. These practices and others restore your vitality as a woman because it enhances your sensual energy. And so, like I said, your sensuality, your sexuality as a woman is your vitality. And so, when you reconnect to your womb, to the core of your being, your cervix, and you use your breath, your sound, your movement to do that, it allows the richer, the deeper, the nectar of who you are as a woman to rise up and take up space in your body. And so I'm really, really, really excited to see who all of you become when you do this practice more and more. We have people saying it was incredible. The vibration was incredible. Thank you. That was so juicy that you loved it so much. And so my invitation is for you to keep practicing that. Keep practicing that. This is also a really fun practice to do with a lover before you make love, before you have sex. Come and do this practice, teaching your partner when the time is right, teaching them how to do this practice and using it as a way for both of you to drop into your sexual power. So sexual energy is life force energy. And when you awaken the deeper tones and rhythms of your sexuality, it brings more radiance. It's like the secret to bringing more radiance to your life. Not just you and how you feel and how you look as a woman, but I'm talking about the radiance of your home, the radiance of, your romantic relationships, the radiance of the actual quality of your life. If you want to increase the quality of your life, focus on your sexual energy. This is the best kept secret of Taoism is that our sexual energy is sacred and it needs to be tended to and it needs to be cultivated as a way to increase our vitality, which also increases the quality of life that we experience. How we feel in our bodies, how we feel in our lives is the most important thing because if we don't feel good in our bodies and our life, chances are we're stressed, which will deplete us, right? Which will deplete your jing, which will deplete your chi, which will deplete your shen. And these are vital elements of yourself that you need to feel whole as a woman. And so, really deepening your practice with this modality, with practices like these, with your womb work, is going to help you become a woman who is rich in her devotion, who exudes radiance, who exudes self-trust, who doesn't question her worth, who doesn't question if she's lovable. She knows she's lovable because you feel your love for yourself. And the link between a woman's inner vitality and her outer magnetism is all about feeling your capacity, feeling like what you have capacity for in your life. It's like the easiest example is like your partner comes and he or she is like, wanted to like make love with you, wanted to have sex, wanted to create some sexy time. And you're just like, oh, I just like don't have energy for that right now. Like I don't want to be touched. I don't want to be breathed on. Like get away from me. Like your capacity in that moment is like nothing. Like it's zero. Of course you don't have the capacity to give and to be romantic when your energy is just not there. So your sexual life force energy and your vitality and your magnetism go hand in hand because when your vitality is rich, your outer magnetism is rich and you have the capacity to give, to share, and to show up in your life in a way that really makes a beautiful, beautiful expression of who you are as a woman. So I'm really, really excited to see, like I said, how all of you continue to integrate this into your life. I know some of you said that you're going to bring this into your morning practice, and that is my invitation when it comes to this work, not just the practice I shared with you today, but all the information around your Jing and your Qi and your Shen and your sexuality and your womanhood, everything that I shared with you today. I really want to invite you to incorporate this into your everyday life. Even if it's just like you're doing your dishes and you're thinking about your kidneys and you're sending good energy to your kidneys as you're doing the dishes, or, going on a walk and breathing in the chi from the trees around you, you know. There's so many little things that we can do in our lives as women that create more value and richness and allow us to feel like we have sustained energy to live the lives that we know we deserve and that we came here for. So, I have a really beautiful invitation for all of you who feel like this is work that you want to pursue, that cultivating your feminine radiance and your chi and your shen is something you want to pursue. Because I've been creating something really sweet behind the scenes, which is a self-paced course called The Nectar Path. And it's a really, really, really beautiful and easy way to start deepening with these Taoist practices. The practice I shared with you today is just the tip of the iceberg. I know you felt so much power from it and you felt so good from it, but I'm telling you, this is just the tip of the iceberg. There's so much more that you could be doing and learning and practicing. And so that's why I created a whole course that's self-paced that'll teach you how to cultivate your feminine energy, how to deepen with your sexuality, and go to the core, the root of your feminine, so that you can start to listen to her and express the true, deeper rhythms of who you are. This course is called the Nectar Path. And it's really unique because the entire course is audio trainings. So you can do this at any time, anywhere. We want it to be really accessible. Like think about it as like a podcast that you pop in when you need your cup to be filled up. So we have 3 audio trainings, and these audio trainings are really centered around your feminine magnetism, your beauty. There's one called the Magnetic Glow Up. We give you lifestyle tips on your womanhood. I even have an audio training in there about feminine biohacking, you know, really, really simple yet beautiful tips that you can start doing now as a woman to deepen your radiance, to deepen your magnetism, and therefore nourish your sexuality and your radiance. And then we have 9 different Taoist feminine healing practices. And these practices are like the juice of my work. We're doing breast massage, we're doing microcosmic orbit. We have a self-worship, a physical self-worship practice where you're bringing your own hands to your own body, you're holding your breasts, you're doing internal pelvic floor mapping. We have a jade egg practice. I teach you how to do jade egg practice. We have a practice about harnessing your sexuality and learning how to direct your sexual energy to different parts of your life to bring the power and the presence of your sexual energy into something you're creating and manifesting. I'm telling you, this course is so good and it's so easy and such a beautiful way to deepen if this work really resonated for you and you find value from what I shared with you here today. I just know that what you're going to experience in this course is going to be really exciting and a really, really big up level for your feminine. So, you're going to I'm going to send you an email after today's, and I'm going to invite you into this course. And the beautiful thing is that it's self-paced, so you can join whenever you want. And the price of this course is $199. So it's $199. And right now, we even have the opportunity for you to pay in payment plans if that's something that's necessary for you. You can do it so easy through Affirm or Afterpay or Carvana right when you're at checkout. So if this work calls to you, there's really no reason not to do it because it's affordable, it's easy, and the value you're going to get from it is going to be so big. And you're going to feel more energized. You're going to embody more of your feminine energy. You're going to feel more sustained in your energy, and your radiance and your sensual confidence is just going to continue to trickle through your life in a really big and beautiful way. So, thank you for awakening your feminine vitality with me today. I hope that everything that you learned in this course was just perfect for where you're at right now, no matter what side of the world you're in or what season of life you're in, that this wisdom was exactly what you needed for your own sense of self, for your own womanhood to feel nourished. And like I said, come listen to it again. You know, anytime that you're feeling low, pop your headphones in, go for a walk, and listen to this workshop again because every single time you do, there's going to be more and more and more information that you receive, things that you didn't hear before that you'll hear again, and it'll land even deeper. And if you want to go even deeper and you want to learn more practices on your sensuality, your feminine healing, learning how to do breast massage, womb massage, internal pelvic floor work, yoni egg practices, somatic breath work, these kinds of things, I've created the beautiful resource, which is the Nectar Path. And I think that all of you would really, really enjoy it. So you'll be getting the invite to that officially after our call. And thank you all so much for showing up. I do want to hold a little bit of space for a Q&A. So we're going to go ahead and end the recording. That way, everybody that's listening to the replay can just pop off and send me a message if you have any questions. But for those of you that are live, I would love to hear any questions that you have.